Welcome to the Blood DK how-to guide. Let's jump right into it, shall we? First, I just want to throw a disclaimer out there. These talents may not be best in tier for the Blood DK, for DPS-wise or tank-wise, whatever. I really don't care. It best suits my own playstyle, therefore I chose it. Okay, for Plague Bearer, Death Coil and Frost Strike also inflict your target, adding 4 seconds to the tick. Okay? So that means your main runic dump, which is your death coil, is going to refresh and add 4 ticks to your STDs. Nice. That's all I gotta say is nice. It beats Unholy Blight because your blood boil will spread the diseases anyway, and if you have this, your death coil is going to be refreshing it anyway, so your STDs are never going to fall off your target. Lichborn versus Purgatory. I chose Purgatory because I feel like I can get more out of this talent to avoid boss max, or if I do something stupid while I'm out in Azeroth or Draenor. If I go into Purgatory 9 times out of 10, all I really need to do is hit this Vampiric Blood, Glyph of course, with Death Pact. That's kind of like the DK Lay of Hands, or as some people would warmly refer to it as the oh shit button. And that'll kick you out of Purgatory with a moderate amount of HP left over to continue doing what you're doing. Toss a couple Death Chops. Death Strikes. I call Death Strikes Death Chops for some reason. I don't know why, I just do. And then you'll be good to go for whatever the heck you're doing. Death's Advance. Well, you need to be able to run faster than everybody else, get to the next pool that much more quicker, or catch up to the other classes that have an unnatural run speed, like, you know, monks or druids. Blood Tap's good, but I don't like keeping track of it. It only goes up to 12 stacks, and if it goes over, you lose the resources. And I don't like keeping track of everything. I'm kind of lazy. I just want to go in there and do lots of damage and get out of there. So I always go for these passive ones if I can. Runic Empowerment versus Runic Corruption. Runic Empowerment gives you a fully depleted rune, whereas a Runic Corruption just speeds up your rune regeneration rate by 100% for 3 seconds. I've tried both these. I feel I get more runes out of Runic Empowerment than I do Runic Corruption. But RNG and all that jazz, so you know, Runic Corruption might be better for you, but for me, I like Runic Empowerment. Death Pact. Talked about it earlier. Kind of almost a requirement if you're in PvE. I don't even know why they even bother putting conversion in there. I mean, that's like, I don't know, it plays against being a Blood Death Knight with the whole passive effect for your death coils. I'll show you that in a minute here. But Gorfine's Grasp. Okay, Gorfine's Grasp here is saying, the spell wise, it's saying if you go into a room or whatever and you target something and there's ads around that target, everything's going to be yanked to that target. But with my macro I just have here showing for you, it's saying your target is always going to be your player regardless if you already have a manual target selected. So I can be DPSing an ad, and for some reason a pack of ads are pulled. I can just continue attacking my ad, move my body closer to the incoming ads, hit my Gorfine's Grasp, everything's going to be yanked toward me, and just do one little blood boil and all the aggro is going to be secured on me. And nothing else I need to do. I can just continue doing what I was doing. That right there is such a lifesaver for me. That's one less thing I have to do as a tank. I'm, like I said before, I'm a little lazy, but I'm not. I don't know, my playstyle is different. I like to massively chain pull. So if I have to stop and go back every single freaking time, it's gonna, you know, affect me or affect the healers, all that jazz. So that's what I like to do. The Defile is probably the only choice here for a Blood Death Knight. Not only does it give about 2k Shadow Frost damage when creatures stand in it, it also drops their damage to you by 10%. 10% damage reduction. Now, if you combine that with your rune tap, okay, look, they're on the same timer and I just had 50% reduction for 3 seconds. That right there is phenomenal. Get in the habit of timing, and look, I have one left over if I need another damage reduction by 40% before it, the global cooldown's over with. And kicking up first on okay. Earlier I said about the death coil thing. Here's why. Your death coil also grants you Shadow of Death, increases your maximum health by 3% for 30 seconds. One refresh, your remaining proportion is tacked on to the new effect. Meaning the more death coils you do, and the longer you do them, the more health you're going to have. That's always nice. Tanks having more health? Blasphemy, right? Resolve, here's Resolve. Resolve will tie together with this. Army of Dead, your ghouls no longer taunt their target. I like having all the aggro on me. I like to be beat. I like to be punished. Because it builds up my resolve. Increases my healing and absorption done to yourself based on the damage taken. That's why most tanks will chain pull like crazy. They don't care if the ads are dead before they pull the next pack. As long as they know they have the aggro secured on those ads, they will pull the next pack. Obviously, taking into account the healing done to you and the damage done by your group, you don't want to pull more than you guys can chew, but at the same time, that's why. You always want to be beaten on, you don't want to stop, you don't want your ads to die before you go to the next pack. You want to keep pulling. Because the more resolve, the more strength you're going to build up, which in turn is going to give you more mastery, which is your blood shield. Each time you heal yourself with Death Strike while in Blood Presence, you gain an X% of amount healed as a physical shield, and it increases your attack power by X%. The reason why I kept saying X% is because your gear and all that jazz affects that percentage level. Pretty right? Pretty gnarly, right? Alright, for primary glyphs, vampiric blood is a requirement. I think it's been a requirement since Cataclysm. I prefer anti-magic shell because it gives me 3 more seconds of no magic being done to me. I can get through boss mechanics and stuff like that all the more safer because of it. Glyph Erase Ally because I don't know if people are being less observant or less smart. I don't know. But I'm noticing more and more people are dying. And since I'm a DK, everybody claims I have the duty to raise people. But I'm sure as heck not going to have the duty be dependent on my runic reserves. That runic power is for me and me alone. I can care less about if you died. So, I will use Glyph Erase Ally because it does not use my runic power. And also, if I don't have the runic power to raise somebody, I don't have to worry about it. Because like I said, I want all that runic power for me for my death coil, so I can get that passive effect. Yeah. Glyph of Passive Frost is also kind of nice. I mean, if you jump down or whatnot, you won't suffer damage from a certain point, obviously. But a couple basic tips I've seen other DK tanks do that kind of I don't say annoy, but is kind of frowned upon. Is some tanks pull with Death Grip. No. The reason why it's a no-no is because your death grip has a chance to fail. Or the target is immune and will not be death gripped to you. And there's also a chance that if it's like 2 or more ads that you death grip one of them, those 2 ads might not be aggroed on you, but add to maybe on the rogue that's doing the Fan of Blades or something. And then he warps out or whatever. Warps out, yeah. Apparently he just became a mage. Whatever. But I think the idea is there. What you want to do instead is you want to select the target like that, then hit your outbreak, and then blood boil. That's what I do. Some guys like to drop their D&D. I like to save my D&D unless, you know, if I have 2 or more ads I'm tanking, which 9 times out of 10 is I'm going to be having that anyway. But the reason why I like to save this is because I like to stack it with my rune tap. Because, like, if a big mechanic just happened, guess what? I don't have my 50%, I only have my 40%. I want that additional 10%. So, make sure your bone shield is always on cooldown. Your ever-blooming frond, however you pronounce that. You can get this from your level whatever tavern, Frostfire Tavern in your garrison. And you also get your Whispering Crystal from there as well. Both I feel are essential, especially if you tank. Because if you stop and the healer's low on HP, all you gotta do is, boom, 60% of health and mana every second. Okay, you're good to go. Keep pulling, you know what I mean? But for me, I like the Salty Squid Roll. Stay seated for 10 seconds. Blah, blah, blah. Stout Arc Rune for strength. The more strength you have, the more of a chunk of health you're going to get from Death Strike. Okay. Of course, the crystal. And make sure you have some healing tonic that's invaluable. Get it. If you don't have it, get it. Put it right next to your health stone. That way you always remember where they are.